All right, it's going to go now. I'm going to hang up the phone. All right. What's going on? Can you hear me good? No, your volume's off. Your audio's off. Try now. Still showing you.
Is that good? Can you hear me now?
Nope, can't hear you. Showing on your end, not on mine.
I turned my mute was on. I turned it off.
Let's see here. Okay, try now. No. Damn it.
It's so weird, dude. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Nothing still.
What about now?
Damn it. Why'd your audio go away? I'm going to push some buttons. Give me 1 second here.
All right, sounds good.
Mute, unmute. I'm going to call you on your cell phone.
All right. Yo.
What's up, man? It's not showing muted on my end. Is there, like, in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, are you seeing something that says mute?
Yeah.
Mic?
Yeah.
And it's not on?
No, it's not on. And actually, when I talk,
there it goes. There it goes.
Yeah.
There it goes. And it's not on?
Yeah, when I talk, I see the green thing move up, so you can hear me now.
Actually, when I talk, there it goes. There it goes. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Here we got the repeater going.
Yeah, when I talk, I see the green.
Okay, we should be good now.
All right.
Sweet. Home of the Hustle Tuesday nights, technical difficulties, but we're back. So can everybody hear us good? I want to make sure that we're good on the user side. So let me see comments. Somebody give me a comment. Let me know we're good so we can keep rolling. All right, it looks like we're good. All right, dude. Well, I appreciate you joining me in here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, dude. Anytime, always. So if you guys don't know Vick, Vick Tipnes is out of Tampa Bay, Florida. Tampa Bay, right?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. CEO, Blackstone Medical. You guys got an incredible story. If you guys don't follow Vick, you need to definitely follow Vick. He's an inspiration to me. He's helped me out a lot in my life, and I'm appreciative to know the guy. And so today we wanted to get together and talk to you guys about a specific topic that Vick wanted to bring up, which is indicators, indicators in life, indicators in sales and business, whatever that may be. So I'm gonna let you jump off here real quick, Vick, and let us know, little quick, like 2-second background and what we're talking about here today.
Yeah, sure. So thanks for the intro. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've started businesses before. I've built them up. I've sold them. And I've made, I like to say that I've made kind of almost every entrepreneurial mistake imaginable, because the first business I built up, I sold it for $9 million when I was 31 years old, and I only walked away with $250,000. So you have to make a shitload of mistakes to be able to do that. I started, after I sold my last business, I ended up in corporate America for a little while and working for the company that bought me out. Which was kind of a good learning experience. And I decided to then venture out on my own again. I started Blackstone 5 years ago, 6 years ago, lost money for the first 3 years, posted my tax return today, showing my loss in 2013, which was about $627,000. I was losing about $30,000 to $50,000 a month in cash, and was able to turn that around and grow the business into a national brand. We're now one of the largest in the country. I've had 325% growth over the last 3 years, and going to double again this year. And we're based out of Tampa, and we're a national company. So through kind of all of that, I was able to take away quite a few nuggets of information that, I feel it's important to share. Eddie, you and I have talked a lot about this, and it's about, in business, you got to kind of look at the indicators, and not only business, but in your personal life too. There are indicators that you sometimes will miss if you're not looking for them. And, I was dealing with a lot of different things, and kind of going back retrospectively, I noticed that I was paying attention to certain indicators, and I noticed that other business people aren't looking at indicators. They're kind of flying by the seat of their pants. And so that's kind of what spawned this kind of idea about talking about these indicators. What are the indicators? What is an indicator? And kind of going from there.
Absolutely. I know in my own personal experience, I have noticed the indicators and acted upon them in cases, and then I have completely ignored the obvious indicators and felt the repercussions of ignoring those things, whether I recognized them and ignored them or didn't recognize them at all and just
right.
By them. So what is the definition of an indicator? Did we look that up?
I'm actually, look, dude, I'm one step thinking on the same page with you, okay?
I'm over here about to Google it, so perfect. If you guys are just joining us, appreciate you guys jumping in here. Please share this out for us. What we're going to be talking about today is something that applies to your life. It applies to your business, and you can definitely learn some good stuff today from my buddy Vick.
An indicator is a thing that indicates a state or level, right? A change of a specific kind. Okay, that's an indicator. A change of a specific kind, or a thing that indicates a state or level. And indicate, the actual root word, comes from Latin, meaning point out. Right? It actually means point out. So that's the definition of indicate. And so, I'll just kind of talk a little bit about, when I started Blackstone, prior to me actually even going to raise money, I went out and I looked for those indicators. I wanted to see kind of what was happening in the marketplace. And I actually created my own survey, just on on a sheet of paper. It was like 5 or 6 questions. Because I would have my own idea about the sleep business and what it was. But I think what happens sometimes is entrepreneurs will make the mistake of thinking that what they think is what everybody else thinks, that their idea is a good idea to everybody else. And I don't think you can hang your hat on that until you've actually tested it out, right? So I created a quick survey of the indicators that I felt that I needed to know in order for me to move forward in this business, and those were simple questions like, to a physician, how many patients a month do you send out typically for sleep testing? Why do you send them out for sleep testing? What do you do after that? And I kind of got a really good idea of the indicators prior to me starting the business and going out there and trying to raise some money, number one. Number two, as an entrepreneur, when you're going in front of an investor and you don't have validated and verified facts, you'll look like an idiot. You really will, because a smart investor is going to ask you, I never hang my hat on just one person's opinion about something. I'll say, okay, well, have you verified it? Is it valid? Is it tested? Is it real? Can I go touch it? Yeah, where's the data? You know, what does it look like? So that was invaluable to me. And I think that as an entrepreneur, it's really, really, really important. And in a sales cycle, it's equally important, right? There are certain indicators that you got to look for. You know, like I know in your business, there's got to be certain indicators that will make you think or feel that the client is ready to buy, right? Or is even interested for you to do a demo or whatever it may be. And I think that a lot of people, they miss that point. They don't put enough value or importance on that part of it. You know,
you got to be able to identify that. I mean, at least in my business, in the sales cycle where I'm at, is identifying those indicators so that you know where the problem is, so that you can see if what you have to offer is the solution to their problem. Because
right.
The problem might be, you know, time. The problem could be money. And
yeah.
They're going to say things in conversation when you're asking the proper questions to be able to indicate to you where they're at and what it is that they're looking to accomplish. Because if you are interested in one thing and I'm talking to you about something totally different, we're not on the same page.
Right.
And so we don't have a relationship to move forward on. And I might be able to solve your problem, but if I'm not paying attention to what you actually need, then we both are going in opposite directions.
Yeah. And I think, you know, the other thing that's like quite important is, you know, if you're, you know, we're either selling or we're being sold something, right? Like, you know, I went into Starbucks today and I wanted to get some coffee, and I was kind of saying, okay, so now I'm being sold, right? And it's like, you know, Cardone's book, Sell or Be Sold, right? You're not always selling. You're also being sold too, right? You know, you go buy a car, you're being sold. You go to Starbucks, you're being sold. And the funny thing was I was standing there and I was kind of looking at some of the snacks and kind of the foods and stuff while I was there. And the lady at the cash register missed those indicators, right? Like I was kind of interested. I was giving some eye contact to the food. She could have asked me, hey, you hungry? How about this? How about that? And if she would have done that, it would have been just enough for me to be like, okay, fine, let me get that. You know, but I was just kind of like, I don't really want that. Do I really want that? And I was kind of Q&Aing with it. And I think what tends to happen sometimes with people is, and we've all been a victim of it, is you miss these indicators because you're putting your own shit out there and you're not really watching with your eyes and saying, okay, what is this person doing even while I'm talking to them? You know, while I'm talking to them, are they like, you know, looking off into oblivion?
Yeah.
And yet you're thinking you're doing such a great job selling, and then, you know, you you walk away, you think, yeah, I got the sale, but no, you don't.
Yeah. You never tapped in.
Yeah, you never tapped in, exactly. So you just missed this whole indicator the indications coming from this person in terms of how you should then kind of maneuver your own, you know, entry point or your spiel or whatever it may be. You know, you got to kind of maneuver it and change a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's the age-old saying, right? You got 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Right.
Listen as much as you speak. But I think beyond that too, because it has to do with recognizing social dynamics and recognizing, you know, what are they really saying versus the words that are actually coming out of their mouth.
Right. Yeah. It's like that. What's his name in Friday? Do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? Right.
Yeah. From the one with Jackie Chan. Yeah.
That's Jackie Chan. Yeah. You hear the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yeah. Because I mean, people are gonna they might be saying something one way, but the way that they're saying it or the words that they're using are indicating to you, if you're paying attention, that they're actually saying something else that their words aren't conveying, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just really important. I mean, I think even in the, you know, in the personal world, in terms of personal relationships, dealing with friends or loved ones or whatever, it's interesting that people tend to pay less attention to the indicators. Like they're not paying attention to the person's demeanor, their tone of voice, the look on their face, and they're just completely ignoring it. And it's sometimes I watch it, I'll watch an interaction between two people and I'm like, this guy or this girl is just completely missing what's actually happening, right? Yeah. And it's kind of an awareness point, but it's just like a complete like right over the head. And I'm a really, really big believer in paying attention to those things, man. They're so important, and I think in business and in just life in general, paying attention to those things and not discounting them is just so important. So important. And that's why I kind of I felt like this was a good topic because I think a lot of people discount them too much, number one. And number two, I think that they feel that it's not as important and that the actual words coming out of the person's mouth is more important. And it's actually not the case all the time.
No, because nonverbal communication actually is a better indicator of where that person's at than the actual words they're saying.
Right.
I mean, micro expressions and body language and just like distance and pace and tone of voice really make more sense as to like what they're really talking about versus the words. And I think that the topic ties right back into the last like mini series that we did on self-awareness, because you have to be self-aware enough of yourself and what you're doing to recognize all these other elements that are going on around you.
Yeah, I mean, Gary Vee talks a lot about that, right? Self-awareness. I mean, self-awareness is just huge, man. And I think that a lot of people just walking around like a zombie, not paying attention to what's happening and the cues and the signals and the indicators and the this and the that and all that kind of shit. And I just think it's paramount. It's a galactic mistake to not pay attention to those things as a salesperson and as an entrepreneur. You got to pay attention to, you got to confront what's happening in front of you and be like, okay, this is what's happening. This guy is not interested, or this girl is not interested in my product or service. So I need to change it up a little bit and figure it out, And I think the person that can do that is just leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else, man.
Yeah. Cause you're playing by a different set of rules.
Yeah.
You're actually viewing the world or the situation as it is versus how you want to see it, right? Salespeople make that mistake all the time is I want to do business with you. You're a big account for me or whatever the situation is. And you want to believe that everything that you're doing and everything that you're saying and the fact that they're nodding their head, that they're actually interested in what it is that you're talking about. Yeah. And then you brainwash yourself into thinking that you have something that you don't.
Right.
And then inexperienced salesperson gets blindsided like, man, I thought we had a deal. Like there was never a deal. You were dealing in a situation where you didn't know what the heck was actually going on. And you were in a social situation where they weren't going to you didn't matter enough for them to tell you how it was. Your status wasn't high enough to get the truth. Yeah. So what you got was like socially acceptable behavior and you bought into that. And so you were lost and then you're blindsided and you don't know what happened. Because you missed the indicators, man.
We missed the indicators. We can't take any questions on this Zoom platform, can we?
I got my phone on me so I could see comments. We can take questions.
Yeah, I think we should take some questions.
Absolutely. If you guys have questions, just drop them in the comments. If you haven't shared, please share this out. Let's while we're waiting on some questions here in like your personal life, right? So like in a relationship, the indicators to me that I think people like miss all the time, and the one that always comes to my mind is passive aggressive behavior.
Oh yeah, it's the worst.
You're like, no, everything's okay. What's going on? I can tell. No, everything's okay. Everything's okay. Like obviously it's not. And
everything's not okay.
It's not.
It's not okay. It's not okay. It's like the fucking bomb drop. It's not okay. Everything's okay. No, it's not okay.
Yeah, but people don't recognize that, and then they're like, okay, well, especially dudes, guys are the worst with it. You're like, oh, okay, well, she said everything was okay. I guess everything's okay. And then,
Well, bro, it's because you don't want to get hit with a frying pan. Frying pans hurt, especially the non-stick ones, man. Those hurt.
oh, dude, yeah, they leave a mark for sure. Martin wants to know, how do you keep committed to your craft?
How do you keep committed to your craft? I think it's purpose. I think you got to have a lot of purpose. There's days. The funny thing is, as an entrepreneur, is that you have to self-motivate yourself. Like, unfortunately, nobody's calling. Like, unfortunately, no one's gonna rip me a new asshole if I don't get to work at 8:30 tomorrow, 8:00 tomorrow, or if I don't show up tomorrow, right? And it's kind of one of these. What's the word? It's one of these kind of dichotomies in the sense that you work really hard to have this freedom, but on the total opposite end of that, you don't have freedom, right? And you're kind of like, okay, I built this thing because I want to have freedom, but then I got to keep it going, and I got to create it, and I got to be responsible, and I got to do this, and I got to do that. And I think you really have to have a lot of purpose, because there are times where you're just like, man, I just don't want to go. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to work in the office, or whatever. And for me personally, I like change of scenery. So sometimes I do get sick and tired of just being in the office, and I will work from another location, or depending if I'm traveling or I have meetings or whatever it may be, I like some randomity. So I think you got to kind of keep it fresh, and you got to kind of be responsible, and just kind of know that that's one of the things you'll deal with, is kind of this, you get bored, and you kind of like, okay, how do I stay motivated on my craft? And I think you got to create your own game. Maybe it's like, hey, look, I want to double my sales, or I want to do blah, I want to do it. Can I do that? Am I capable of doing that? And then trying it out and seeing.
Well, because it starts, like you said, with like your purpose. So your craft should be your purpose, or else you're going to have a hard time staying committed to that craft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it doesn't matter, if it's not what you're passionate about, or what you really want to do,
you won't do it.
You're not going to do it. I mean, the moment shit hits the fan, you're going to be like, fuck this, I'm done.
Right.
But even your purpose, like you said, you got to create a game in your own mind that revolves around discipline.
Yeah.
You have to have those daily disciplines. Like, no matter what, if Vic doesn't want to get up and go hit the office, you've already committed to the discipline of doing it. Maybe you don't go to the office. Maybe you go, over here or over there, but you get the job done either way. Because you have a goal and an end game. I like what you were saying about, the entrepreneur life, and you build this thing to have independence or have freedom to do your own thing, because you want to be your own boss, but then you end up, actually you're married to the business, like you're stuck to it.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on, and this kind of changed the topic a little bit, but you brought it up. What is your opinion about everybody, I hate that term, not everybody, the market, and a lot of people saying that they want to build residual income, and they want to have a business that frees them from this and that or the other? Do you think that actually is a practical thing that really exists for most people?
I think residual income is great. I think if you've got investments, real estate's a great residual income. If you go out and buy real estate, you got residual income, I think is great. I don't think, well, let me ask you, how many people do you know, like, in order to create residual income, you've got to hustle. You got to have that within you to hustle, right? So you're gonna create a business or something to create money so you can go buy real estate or whatever it may be, right? How many of those people end up creating residual income and then sitting at home?
Yeah, none that I know.
Not many, because in order for them to have even gotten to that position, they had to be pretty self-motivated. Mm-hmm. So, you watch these things on TV sometimes, and they're selling these programs, and it's like, you sit at home. How many people are sitting at home? That'd be really fucking boring anyway, to sit at home. At least go to the mall and go shopping or do something with your money. But that's just not real to me. I mean, I'm not big in real estate. I think I will be later on, but that's just not my game. I like the healthcare space, and I think there's a ton of money to be made in the healthcare space.
So
but
the indicators there, right? So let's tie this into what we're talking about here. So the indicators from somebody who is looking to have residual income, to me, that's an indication of a person that they're hunting for the next big thing, the next big deal, to have this residual income so they can live this life of freedom. Like, to me, that's an indicator of somebody who doesn't want to put the work in.
Yeah. I mean, you ain't going to get rich by just doing nothing. And you got to really work your ass off, So to even have this idea that I want to create residual income because I can sit my ass at home. That's like saying, I want to eat a bunch of food so I can lose weight. I want to eat a bunch of food so I can lose weight. Hold on. You want to create residual income so you can sit at home?
Yeah.
It's just the wrong mentality. It's the wrong mentality. You're not going to create the wealth because your idea is to sit at home.
Yeah.
That means you're lazy. You know what I mean?
I agree completely. Let me scroll back through here, see if we have any other questions. Mark Elkill says, what does Vic do? Vic's the CEO of Blackstone Medical. Serial entrepreneur. Website where they can buy your shirts and clothes and stuff at, dude. I love that stuff.
Entrepreneurfamily.org. Get the shirt.
Yeah. I almost had my black one on today. Martin says, I answered his question last. Let's go to Shane. Shane says, should you be judged by your wife's smile? Should you be judged by your wife's smile?
Depends on what day, bro.
Man, depends on how mentally stable your wife is too.
Depends on what day. You know what though? Here's the thing, dude. You can't make nobody happy.
No.
You can't make nobody happy. You either happy or you're not happy. You know what I mean? And I think trying to make somebody happy, I think you can enhance happiness, but I think the person's generally just got to be happy to begin with. Otherwise you have no business being in a marriage. Zero. If you're going to the marriage to become happy.
Yeah.
Then you need help. Then you need help. You need some serious help.
For sure. You can't seek happiness in somebody else, and you can't make somebody else happy because that's what you want. The only person you can make happy is the one in the mirror, man.
Exactly. And that's tough.
It is tough. It is tough.
That's tough. That's tough alone. But you want me to make you happy too?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's take some personal responsibility on both sides of a relationship to be happy with ourselves and then learn how that works together.
Exactly. I think you can enhance it for sure.
Yeah.
You can enhance it for sure.
That's probably one of the most difficult things to do in life is to figure out how to have a cohesive relationship with another human being. Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
I mean, unless one of them is very passive and the other one is, more assertive. And then in that case, then is the passive person really that happy to be always in the supplicant role? Probably not. So are they really happy? Probably not. Well,
a funny thing is I was talking to a friend of mine today, and we were talking about relationships and in business and personal. And he brought up an interesting point. He said, Vic, you even look at movie stars. You look at people that are famous, that have the fame and have money. And, the number one reason for divorce in this country is because of financial reasons. And, he said, Vic, if you really look at it, you think about these people that have the fame and the money, and they have a tough time. These are people that can walk into a restaurant and get a table anywhere. Everyone recognizes them. They get this preferential treatment wherever they go. They have all the money in the world. And even they can't do it. Even they have a tough time. So it just goes to show you that relationships are very, very can be tough, I don't want to have the idea that they're very difficult, because I don't. I think they're quite simple if you have the right person that has the right mindset to say, okay, hold on, I can't keep going to you to be happy. I need to be happy. And what am I bringing to the relationship? Am I bringing problems, or am I bringing some value?
We got to have two people that are at least in a similar level of like mutual respect and understanding and self-awareness, right? Like, I know if I'm being an asshole, I need to be able to recognize that I'm being an asshole and that's my fault, and not project that off onto somebody else. I think you kind of have to really be at a place in life where you two actually like mesh and meet together. You can't be here and here. I know that was my marriage. I was like going this way, and she was kind of cool right here, and as it went, we just got further and further separated from what reality was to me versus what reality was to her.
Right. And that just changes the whole ball game. I think one of the biggest things that I've just kind of worked on myself with is just knowing like what I'm giving off. Like, at least I know now, like if I'm being an asshole, I know I'm being an asshole. If I'm being, mean, I know I'm being mean. Or if I'm being blah, I know I'm being blah. And I can take responsibility for that, and be like, okay, hold on, I need to go take a walk, or whatever the case may be, to chill out. But, even when, in business, talking to an employee or whatever, if you get frustrated, it's like, all right, we just chill.
Well,
so that whole point is very important.
I look back, and there were indicators, right? There was plenty of indicators during that situation that we were coming to an impasse.
Right.
Now that like my mindset has matured over the years, like it's also created kind of a wedge with me in relationships in general, because now I'm looking for indicators and I'm creating them.
Right.
Where they may not exist. Right.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean?
That's not good.
No, it's not. I'm like, oh, I see what kind of person you are. Deuces. Rob Glow wants to know, did you do well in your first year of business?
No.
You said it was lost leader for 3 years, right?
Yeah, Rob, go to my Facebook page and look at the post that got posted today that shows my 2013 tax return. Don't get any more realer than that, where I lost $625 or $627,000 that year. That's a lot of money to lose, and trying not to feel like a loser. Yeah. But no, I number one, I'll say I never thought that I was going to be profitable in my first year or second year. Okay. I didn't think that I was going to lose as much money as I did. I didn't think it was going to take as much money as it did. And I think those are definitely the false datas of an entrepreneur is thinking that you're always going to need more money than you think you're going to need. And it's always going to take a little bit longer than you think it's going to take. Right. But most businesses do lose money for the first year or two. They do, and that's why you got to go raise capital. So I knew I was going to lose money. I think it took a lot longer. And then I lost my investor midway through, and I was 4 days away from bankruptcy. And then I had a lot. I was getting divorced at the same time. And it was just like, when it was raining, it was pouring rain. And I had an umbrella that had holes in it. So it was one of those things. I had to kind of just grin and bear it. I just had to get through it. Yeah. And but I think it takes time. It does take a bit of time.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're of the same mindset that I would put myself in. Like, what are you gonna do? Quit?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a choice. I mean, what was I going to do? I mean, I got a high school diploma.
Yeah.
What am I going to go do? Go cut grass. I could do that. I could go clean swimming pools. I mean, I could. Yeah. I would do that. If I had to do that, I would do that.
Well, and like the conversation that you and I had before I came out to Vegas, and I'm like, bailing out of this thing, like I feel like I'm quitting, right? I felt like I was down to freaking go like live in a fucking box and go homeless to like
Right.
not go back, you know?
Right.
And I had to recognize those indicators, and you had to help point them out to me.
Yeah.
In order to do that, because I would have just kept driving it straight into the freaking ground.
Yeah, no, I think you made the right choice because I mean, look at you now.
Yeah, things are going fantastic.
Right. So you made the right
Have
choice.
any other questions for Vic? Thanks for sharing, guys. If you haven't shared this out, please do. If you don't know what you're watching, this is Home of the Hustle Tuesday night. Monday, Jason Daniels. Tuesday is me, Eddie Martin. Wednesday, Frank Sell. Thursday, it's The Law. And Friday, it is Freedom Fridays with Justin Myers. Always got good military folks on there with Justin. His story is incredible. Always check out Fridays. Always check out every day. But definitely check Justin out. So no questions. So let's just keep going off on indicators. So in your business, what would be like an example of like something that's going on like in the market, right? That's an indicator of how you should move as a business, right? Because it goes beyond what's in front of your face, right? It's what the whole pile is doing.
Yeah, I mean, for us, the big indicators are obesity levels. You know, people unfortunately are getting more clinically obese, and obesity, almost 75% of people that are clinically obese have a 75% chance of having obstructive sleep apnea. So we look at those things and we go into certain markets that have, you know, that do have a higher level of obesity because we know we can help. We know that we can get into that market and provide a level of service that has better quality, better access at a better cost. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, those are the indicators that we look for, as well as insurance companies that are looking to save money, that don't want their patients unnecessarily going to a hospital or a sleep lab to get tested for this. You know, so that's what we look for.
Yeah, and that's exactly pretty much what I was asking, because it goes, like I said, it goes beyond to whatever is going in front of you. Like if all of a sudden people were losing weight and feeling great and the market was different, like you as a business would have to shift. Yeah. Because your market changed.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, for sure.
Recognize those indicators. Like let's say that you're Blockbuster Video and you don't recognize that everything is going digital. And Netflix comes along, you have the opportunity to suck it up, buy it for what, $6 million, $5 million, or whatever that deal was. And they said, screw you. People love videos. They love the experience of going to the video store. Like, dude, you guys are fucking delusional.
Right.
And they're under. I mean, same with the taxi industry with Uber. They didn't recognize the indicators. And we were talking about this, and I didn't write this stuff down for us, but like, I was looking at indicators, obviously here at Lightspeed and what we do, and I came across all these numbers, right? So 85% of all content online by 2019 will be video.
Wow.
Isn't that insane? By 2020, 3 billion more people will enter internet age, will come on to the age of being on the internet.
Wow.
3 billion, dude. The e-learning industry, the market, is going to be a $325 billion market by 2025. $325 billion.
Can you send me that data when you get a second?
Yes, I will send it to you.
Wow,
10,000 baby boomers retire every single day.
How many?
10,000. So you have a huge market shift that not only is going to affect my business, but affect everybody's business. And if
everybody's business
indicators, then you're going to be pissing in the wind when the shit hits the fan here in a couple years. Yeah,
totally. Those are amazing stats. But yeah, it's you know, we're gearing up for that now. A lot of our content is video based, video training, video tutorials about the device and all these sorts of things, because unfortunately everybody wants to go to their phone.
Yep.
You know, and they want to watch a video. They don't want to read anything, which is, it is what it is. But so you guys are in an amazing space.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good time to be in this space. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Everybody's online doing everything nowadays. You can't keep anybody's attention for more than 15, 20 minutes. So putting stuff in front of them, keeping them engaged and interacting, they'll learn better than just talking at them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have a question here. I just see it. I just saw it. Hold on, I'm looking for it. Okay, so Mario says, how would you identify real leaders to build a lasting team with your organization? How do you identify a real leader?
You know, leaders, it's an interesting thing. You know, leaders to me have vision. They have a certain sense of vision, and that vision can be on a gradient scale. You know, like a big vision, small vision, and they're able to lead a team towards that vision in a positive way versus a threatening way. You know, because we've all been around some leaders that threaten you to a degree that if you don't do blah or you don't get blah, you're gonna get axed or you're gonna get this or you're gonna get that. And I think you can see that. I think you can see that in people. I think it's pretty obvious. I think it's a big indicator. It doesn't go unnoticed. I think you have to be a dum-dum not to see it, you know, but you know, when I see it, I know, like, okay, this person is a leader. I can cultivate that. You know, I can get that person to lead a team of however many people, and they have a shared vision with us or me or a vision, and they're willing to and they can take a team down that road. I think that's really important. I don't think there's many leaders out there as we think, because I think it's something that you just kind of, I think you kind of innately have. I think you kind of want to be a leader. I think you have to be a leader. I think you have to want to have taking the responsibility of being a leader, because it's not always popular. Not everyone's always going to agree with you. And you've got to get a lot of people to believe in you and invest in you. And you know, those are the qualities that you can look for to see in a person, you know. And we've seen the opposite, which is, I don't want to take responsibility for anybody else. I just want to worry about me.
Yeah.
You know.
So do you think that you can like cultivate a leader, or do you think that leadership is just something that it's like an innate ability that somebody is kind of naturally born with? Like, you could teach somebody how to sell. There are natural born persuasive people. You could teach that. Dude, but can you really teach someone how to be a leader? Because a leader is selfless. A leader has vision, you know.
I don't think so.
When you light a fire under the leader figures out how to put the fire out, right? They don't panic.
Yeah, I think it's something it's innate. It's innate. Does everybody have it inside of them? Probably. But, you know, I think that you have to be aware that you possess this innate quality and you're willing to take it on, you know. But I don't think you see it as much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not a popular thing to be. Like, if somebody that's not a leader, right, finds themselves in a leadership role, right? Because companies, CEOs, high-level managers, they're looking for people to lead teams, and you get these people into a leadership role because they're good at a certain subject. They're good at sales, or they're good at whatever. So, okay, well, you're the best at this, so let's put you in this situation. And then when it's not all happiness and everybody loves you, when you have to like make the hard decisions and now everybody hates you, like they don't know what to do. Yeah,
you have to, you know, it's kind of funny, you know. I think as a leader, you have to be willing to be alone. I think you have to be willing to stand alone. I think you have to be willing to not care what people think, go against a lot of group agreement with people, disagree with the middle class. I think you You go against a lot of things. And do a lot of people want to do that? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that a lot of people don't want to take that road.
Yeah.
It's not always fun.
No.
And I think that they see the byproducts of the success of being a leader, but there's a shitload more that goes into the sacrifice of doing that than what you get.
Yeah.
You know, a shitload more.
It's like that picture of the iceberg, like the quintessential picture like of success. You know, you only see this much, but all the rest of the stuff that's going on down here, you're not paying attention to. But that really comes down to indicators, man. And like understanding, like stop looking through your lens and look through the general lens of what is going on. And if you notice that, you'll notice that the leader it's not always all like prestige and status and like good stuff. I mean,
no, it's not. It's not. And the funny thing is when I hire a salesperson, I actually don't look at. I hire a salesperson based on who they're selling. I get into the mindset of the customer. Would I, as that customer, like this person or not? It's not necessarily, do I personally like this person? How would I interact with this person? Because I am not everyone else. And I think you make that mistake sometimes when you don't put yourself in the shoes of the customer and say, okay, what does the customer want? The customer would want blah. The customer would actually prefer this, where I may have a personal bias towards it, but the customers like it. Like these little spinny things everybody's got, right? These little things. Like if somebody showed me that and said, hey, Vic, you want to vet? I'd tell them to get out of my face because I think that's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, who's got time to do that? But it's like a fucking craze.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's a fucking craze. And I'm sure if I tried it, I maybe would get addicted to it. But I'm not everyone else. And I think you can't make that error to think that you're everyone else.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to think like you. But if I can put myself in the shoes of the customer, it will give me a better vantage point of knowing who they would want to see coming into their office or establishment every day. And then I can hire based off of that.
Again, back to an indicator, what's the indicator of your customer? What are they looking for? Who are they looking to interact with?
Right.
Because just like you wouldn't have invested in fidget spinners, right?
Is that what it's called? Fidget spinners?
Yeah. Gary Vee didn't want to invest in Uber when it first happened. He didn't see the vision.
Right.
Indicators. He didn't recognize the indicators. I wouldn't have invested in the fidget spinner thing either. Who would do that? Like how would that take off? And dude, my kids have like 20 of them each. It's like, how many hands do you have, man? Like how many of these things do you need?
It's crazy.
Yeah. And at like $10 a pop, I mean, or whatever they are.
Wow.
It's a big market. It's a big space. Pokemon Go, all that stuff. Okay, so Austin's actually saying that right now. Furbies and Pokemon and Snuggies and all these little weird strain. The pet rock, dude. Somebody sold a rock and called it a pet.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. So you never know. You never know what the consumer wants.
Yeah. But whatever the vision is, and I guess that's what maybe the next level or just a whole different personality type between, a leader and then someone who has like a visionary, somebody who's seeing like these indicators in markets and spaces that everybody else isn't seeing.
Right. Yeah.
Now, I think you probably you could, learn over time if you're that natural born leader and you are paying attention to the indicators, you get to a point where now you kind of see the big picture. The picture just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And next thing you know, like you actually have a very big lens of what's going on around you versus, the limited lens that just continues to grow.
Yeah, totally. Totally agree.
So does anybody else have any other questions for my man, Vick Tipnes here? Let's see, looking through here. Apparently John Hamlin was in here. John Hamlin, if you're in here, what's up, man? How you doing? Cool. So no questions left. We've been on for just about an hour now. So is there anything that you want to leave everybody with about indicators or some actionable advice at the end?
I mean, I think that the actionable items are really just, you got to pay attention to what the person's doing or not doing in front of you, and try not to make it more than it is or less than it is, and just kind of look at it for what it is. Because there are definitely times where a person's indicating that they're not interested, and so you got to kind of stop talking and ask them like, hey, what's happening? Instead of just keep babbling on and thinking it's going to change. I don't do that. If I'm talking to somebody and I see that their demeanor has changed or they've become less interested, I'll kind of stop and just say, hey, is something happening that you're not interested, or what are you thinking about, or blah blah blah. I just don't keep talking to think that if I keep talking, something miraculously is gonna like change.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
It's not happening. Right.
Forward. Yeah. Awesome. Where can everybody follow you? I know you Instagram, you got a lot of stuff going on Instagram and Facebook.
Facebook, Instagram, I mean, pretty much every channel, Twitter and all that, but obviously everybody wants to be on Facebook. I think that's really the go-to. So between Facebook and Instagram is where majority of the content is everywhere, but everyone's going to Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
So you guys can find me there. At Vick Tipnes is my handle, VickTipnes, and you can find me on Facebook under my name too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you guys got some good value out of this. I had a good time as always.
Likewise.
Getting together on this stuff. We'll have to partner up and figure something else out here soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate it. Have a great night.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Later, dude.
See ya.